guys, it's Abby, ADOS Cosplay again. This is going to be a little bit more intensive than the first video. The first video was just a general overview. And this is going to get a little bit more detailed with some of the methods I used. I'm going to say I'm not a professional and a lot of the methods I used failed. I can tell you more about what not to do than what to do with certain methods. Just for starters, the helmet, it has a whole lot of ridges in it, and if I could go back and do it, I would probably use paper clay, because paper clay is a lot, it's lighter, and I feel like I would be able to smooth it on a lot better, or that I would just make the whole thing out of the Pepicura method, which you can just Google Pepicura, that, or this expanding spray foam that you can just carve out and sand. I would definitely do that differently. I would probably still keep the hose, and I would probably carve all of this out of solid foam instead of trying to piece it together. But this is softball helmet with craft foam melted in pieces over it. And let me tell you a little bit about craft foam is you can get the huge rolls at Joann's Fabrics, and I'm not sure what Walmart's carry it. Some of the super centers carry more than others. And you basically just cut out the general shape that you need plus an inch or two, because when you pinch it and pull it with the heat gun, it's going to do all kinds of wavy things where you're holding it, and then you just cut out what you need and smooth it on. And definitely coat everything in Mod Podge, at least 2 or 3 coats, so that's going to take an extra hour or 2, but it's going to be so worth it because it's sandable. Like, I sanded all of this for hours and it still wasn't smooth enough because it's not all one solid piece. But this is the horrible setup. Everything is kind of falling apart because I finished everything at 1 a.m. the night before the convention because I'm just not that smart and I am not a professional at this, but I'm still making this video because everybody keeps asking me how I did it, because apparently they don't see how bad it is in pictures. This is more of the same stuff I used for the visor. This is the like the greenish plastic. This is just craft foam. Like, this isn't even melted. This is, I stretched over, it's kind of like a spandex over it, and then just glued the under edges to it, and then it has Velcro everywhere it needs to attach. On the bottom you can see it's red craft foam. The reason these have the spikes sticking out is because there are loops of super stiff wire inside of the shoulder pieces, and the problem is that it failed so badly because these are really stiff pieces of wire. I just have fabric over it to keep it from like scratching up stuff. I used corrugated plastic underneath it, thinking, oh, I can melt this down and I would change it out with Wonderflex in a heartbeat, but I couldn't ship it in time by the time I realized what a poor idea this was. So this is really just corrugated plastic melted down. It actually kind of looked like a toilet seat cover, and then I melted that over my mannequin to fit like my shoulders. The back of this is the jetpack. This is more corrugated plastic, and then that's covered in multiple layers of craft foam, so you can see like the ridges are raised. And then these were actually just like cans, like Pringles cans, like cardboard round things, and then I covered those in a cone shape of more craft foam and like painted it there. And all of the under stuff, like the bodice of it, this is all separate pieces because only the chest piece really needs to connect with the rest of it, so they all connect with Velcro snaps and zippers. So this stays on my middle pretty well, and then you pull up the other stuff. A lot of it was all just connected with Velcro, which it worked great for like the arm pieces and the leg pieces, but for some of the other stuff that's high stress, that didn't work very well, and in the future I'm probably going to replace it with magnets or like really big snaps. Which brings me to the first question of basic process. Oh wait, that's a complicated one. Okay, there's a basic process question that I'm going to answer later in another video. And then Dan Reed asks, tell me about the lighting system on Samus's arm cannon. I've noticed a lot of cosplayers who do Samus opt to make the helmet, shoulders, arms, and lower legs solid while making other parts out of clothes and such. What were some deciding factors which affected your execution of the project? Okay, I don't like how the fabric bodices look. Like, this looks more like armor. It's really shiny, and a lot of it, I don't like. Some of them look okay, but I didn't want to just paint on the armor. Like, these are all individually flexing pieces of armor, and that's how it's supposed to look. Like, she wears a suit of armor. She doesn't wear cloth. Like, if you're a real bounty hunter, you're not going to wear cloth. So that was one of the deciding factors in that. And then everything else just kind of came together as, you know, okay, I've got all this craft foam, let's just paint it and use it. And the other one was, what did you find particularly challenging about this costume, and would you do anything differently were you to make it a second attempt? I am making a second attempt at MomoCon. Because of time constraints, I'm not going to redo the entire thing how I want, but I'm going to redo most of this. The most challenging part that I found was how to attach the shoulders, because I didn't think of it until like last minute how I would attach it, and all of this kind of fell apart. Like, some of the wires popped out, and I had like just scabs on my shoulders from where the wires were scraping me. I wore it about 4 hours. If I could find another time to do it, I would have the chest light up. Like, this back piece of plastic is supposed to light up. I would put lights back there. I would probably make the whole chest piece out of a solid piece of Warbler or Wonderflex. And I would think of how they all connect way before when I did, because it was like the night before the convention, because I didn't think it would take 200 hours to make it, because I'm silly like that. And I would put fans in it. I don't know how many people were at AWA, but I overheated horribly, like really, really, really bad. I was sick. So I would put little fans in the chest, and I would also boost it up higher because it didn't cover enough of my neck, because it didn't make the helmet quite long enough, and then this sat too low after I'd been wearing it a while. Everything just started shifting forward. So I think that's one of the main things I would do differently, and then I would store it differently, because it's really sad. A lot of the pieces of armor got crushed from my parents. But again, I'd like to give a special thanks to my boyfriend Patrick, who helped me make all of this possible and made everything super shiny for me, and my little sister Rachel, and my armor handlers Katie and Jay. Thank you guys. Check me out on Facebook at Abby ADOS Cosplay. Thanks. Bye.